Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to demystify one of the absolutely most stunning houseplants out there, the Cebu Blue Pothos. We're taking you on a complete journey from just basic beginner survival all the way to unlocking its expert-level thriving maturity. So whether you just brought home your very first little cutting or you're looking to elevate an older plant, well, you're in exactly the right place. Now, what's literally wild about the Cebu Blue is that it essentially gives you two totally different looks, and it depends entirely on how you care for it. Left to its own devices, it's this delicate, cascading, juvenile vine. But give it the right environment, boom, it transforms into a dramatic, climbing, mature plant that looks like it was plucked straight out of a tropical rainforest. It's basically two beautiful plants in one. Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by officially meeting the Cebu Blue. Then, we'll dive right into light and water essentials, move on to soil, humidity, and feeding, tackle pruning and easy propagation, troubleshoot some common problems, and finally, wrap up with those expert pro tips for getting fenestrations. All right, Section 1, meet the Cebu Blue. Let's officially introduce this stunning species and see why it's such a collector's dream that's actually surprisingly super forgiving for beginners. So, you're probably pretty familiar with the classic golden pothos, right? The one with those standard heart-shaped green and gold leaves? Well, the Cebu Blue completely flips the script. It sports these incredibly elegant, elongated, arrow-shaped leaves. But honestly, the real showstopper here is the color. It's got this almost metallic, silvery-blue shimmer that just instantly elevates a room. It's a subtle but absolutely gorgeous upgrade from your everyday trailing plant. Moving right along to Section 2, light and water essentials. Let's cover exactly what kind of lighting and hydration this plant actually needs to keep that spectacular color popping. Okay, the absolutely crucial thing to remember here is that light dictates color. That incredible silvery blue sheen, it's directly tied to the plant getting bright, indirect light. Think, a cozy spot near an east-facing window. Now, if you stick this guy in a dim, dark corner, it'll survive, because hey, it's a hardy pothos, but it's gonna lose that beautiful blue tint, fade to just an ordinary green, and the vines will get all stretched out and leggy. No one wants a leggy plant, right? Now for watering, the golden rule is 1 to 2 inches. Just let the top 1 to 2 inches of soil dry out completely between waterings. Literally just stick your finger right into the dirt to check. It's that easy. These guys actually store water in their thick stems and leaves, so they're wonderfully forgiving if you're a bit of a forgetful waterer. Seriously, it's always way better to slightly underwater a Cebu Blue than to overwater it. But when it is time to water, don't just give it a tiny little sip. You want to do what we call the drench and drain cycle. Drench that soil thoroughly until water is freely pouring out of the drainage holes at the bottom. But here is the absolute most critical step. Immediately empty the saucer underneath. If you let the pot sit in a puddle of standing water, you are fast-tracking your way to deadly root rot, which is pretty much the #1 killer of these plants. Let's jump right into Section 3, soil, humidity, and feeding. We're gonna build the absolute perfect foundation here, starting with chunky aroid soil and mimicking that ideal tropical vibe. You have to remember where this plant comes from. In its native environment, it climbs up trees in the tropical forest of the Philippines. Because of that, it absolutely hates compacted, heavy dirt. So you're going to want to use the rule of 3 to mix your own soil. 2 parts standard potting soil, 1 part perlite, and 1 part chunky orchid bark. This airy, super well-draining aroid mix gives the roots all the oxygen they're craving and stops them from sitting in soggy, swampy conditions. And coming from the tropics, you bet this plant loves humidity. While it'll totally tolerate the average, slightly drier air in your house, hitting that 50 to 70% relative humidity sweet spot is the real secret sauce. You can easily pull this off with a simple pebble tray filled with water under the pot, or just by running a small humidifier nearby. Do that and it'll reward you with way faster growth and noticeably larger, super happy leaves. Now, fresh potting soil does have nutrients, but they definitely deplete over time. The Cebu Blue isn't exactly a super heavy feeder, but giving it a balanced liquid fertilizer, diluted to half strength, just once a month during its active growing season in the spring and summer, that acts like a perfect little vitamin boost. It keeps everything lush and vibrant. Just remember to stop feeding it completely in the winter when its growth naturally takes a break. All right, Section 4, pruning and easy propagation. Your plant's got a great foundation now, so let's talk about keeping its shape bushy and, honestly, my favorite part, multiplying your collection for absolutely free. So regular pruning isn't strictly required for the plant's health, but if you don't give it occasional trims, those beautiful vines are eventually going to get long and kind of stringy. The fix is super simple. Grab some clean scissors and snip the vine just above a node. That's the little bump where a leaf attaches to the stem. Doing that forces the plant to push out brand new, fuller branching growth right from that exact spot. And whatever you do, please do not throw away those cuttings. Propagating a Cebu Blue in water is practically foolproof and so incredibly rewarding. Just take your cutting, make sure you snip about a 1/4 inch below a node this time, strip off those bottom leaves, and drop the bare nodes right into a glass of clean water. In literally just 1 to 3 weeks, you're gonna watch brand new roots sprout right before your eyes. It is the coolest thing. Let's move to section 5, troubleshooting common problems. Because look, even the easiest, most forgiving houseplants hit a rough patch sometimes. Let's play plant doctor and figure out how to fix them fast. You really just have to listen to what your plant is telling you. For instance, yellowing, lower leaves combined with mushy stems, that almost always means you need to hit the brakes on watering. You're probably looking at root rot. On the flip side, if you're losing that signature silvery blue color, the plant is screaming for brighter indirect light. And what if you start seeing brown, crispy edges on the leaves? Well, your air is probably too dry or you're waiting just a little too long between waterings. Also, keep an eye out for pests. The Cebu Blue is wonderfully pest resistant, but early detection is still your absolute best defense. Just make it a habit to check the undersides of the leaves every now and then. If you spot cottony white masses, tiny little dots with webbing, or weird brown bumps, isolate the plant immediately. You can treat these annoying invaders pretty easily by just gently wiping the leaves down with a cotton swab dipped in rubbing alcohol, or spraying the foliage with some diluted neem oil. Finally, we've arrived at section 6. Pro tips for fenestrations. Let's unlock the ultimate secret to transforming this beautiful little vina into a massive, dramatic botanical masterpiece. Now, you might actually be wondering, will my perfectly cared for plant ever reward me with flowers? Well, the short answer is no. Getting a Cebu Blue to flower indoors is incredibly rare, but honestly, don't even worry about it because indoor plant collectors are chasing a completely different, highly structural goal with this specific plant anyway. And that goal is fenestration. This is the absolute holy grail for Cebu Blue owners. It's this dramatic, crazy physical transformation where the mature leaves develop deep, natural splits and holes in them. When this happens, the leaves also get massively larger. It essentially gives you a completely different, wild, monstera-like plant that just looks insanely exotic. So how on earth do you trigger these legendary fenestrations? Well, the expert unlock takes 2 things working together. First, you've got to give the plant a physical structure to climb, like a moss pole or a quail pole. This lets those aerial roots grab on and climb vertically, perfectly mimicking how it climbs trees in the rainforest. Second, you have to combine that climbing pole with consistently bright indirect light. That upward, vertical growth plus great light, that is the exact signal the plant needs to know it's time to mature. So armed with the knowledge of perfect bright lighting, the recipe for that chunky aroid soil, the correct drench and drain watering cadence, and of course the expert secret of the climbing moss pole, you are totally ready. Apply these visual frameworks and watch your Cebu Blue completely thrive into a majestic jungle giant. Which really makes you wonder, right? What other totally ordinary houseplants sitting in your living room right now are secretly hiding a rainforest giant just waiting to be unleashed?